global tech rout deepening today. The semiconductor ETFs, SMH, posting its worst week since March 2020. The NASDAQ 100 having its worst week in 2 years. Names like Broadcom, Tesla, Nvidia, and Alphabet all taking a beating today and this week. Our next guest sounded the alarm on some of the big tech stocks back in July. And joining us now is Dan Niles, Niles Investment Management founder and portfolio manager. Dan, happy Friday. So on the S&P, we're back to where we were in mid-June, right before you issued that warning, where at the time we had been led higher, and we were being led higher by technology. Only this time, we're led lower by technology. Aside from that, what's different? Why might we not reverse course and go higher again?
Because I think it's becoming clear to investors that you're spending a ton of money on AI. And despite what people say, the facts are that even though spending on AI is going up, your revenue forecasts are going down. And what I mean by that is if you look at the three biggest hyperscalers and three of the biggest stocks in the S&P 500, which is Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, all three of those companies, when they reported their quarters, even though they upped the amount that they were going to be spending on AI infrastructure, the forward revenue figures for all three of those went down. So at a certain point, John, you're spending a lot of money, but you're going to want to see a return. And by the way, we saw this already post-COVID, where if you remember during COVID, and NVIDIA is going to come up, so I might as well bring it up. NVIDIA went from negative year-over-year revenue growth before COVID. COVID hit. Revenue growth then in early 2022 went to up over 80% year over year. Then, as you probably remember, there was this COVID hangover. Demand started to slow down. Those three big hyperscalers started to slow their spending, and NVIDIA's revenues by the end of 2022 went from up over 80% to down over 20%. Mm-hmm. And the stock went down 66% as you went through that digestion phase.
Here we have the current stock market update, the weekly summary update for Nvidia Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. Before we begin with this chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful with your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comment section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So here we can see that the technology rout, the rout of the tech sector, has been widespread, and the biggest company in the world, or the most important company in the world at the moment, is seeing a significant amount of that selling pressure. So currently what we're looking at here is a near-term low with NVIDIA coming in at $100.95. So just above these important psychological levels, near $100 per share. Overall trading volumes have started to flatten out a bit here. We are seeing a bit of a mixture in terms of buying pressure and selling pressure. As we can see in the trading volumes here, there has been a significant amount of selling pressure, but we're starting to see that change a bit more recently as share prices have started to approach this $100 zone. This is an area that probably would have seemed impossible or very difficult to imagine a very short time ago, especially given the fact that earnings were good. We can fairly say, I think. So, as things currently stand, this movement lower has been substantial, and in some ways, it could be argued that this move is excessive and probably irrational. So as things currently stand, what we're looking at here is a movement below the entire exponential moving average cluster. This is the 4-hour price chart that we're looking at. So each candlestick represents a 4-hour trading period. As we can see here, all four of the major exponential moving averages have now been broken, with share prices sort of moving into a little bit of resistance now when testing this 200 period EMA from the bottom. So that would be this rising blue line here. So share prices did break below here. We did see lows roughly into this area. And then we did see a movement back into this 200 period EMA, but then an ultimate rejection there as well. So overall, this is going to be the main level of resistance here to watch going forward. Currently, this comes in right around the 109.60 area, 109.70 roughly. So we can see that this area here is probably going to be the critical key area to watch on the top side. I normally don't like to look at moving averages alone unless we're starting to see a fair amount of consistency in terms of a retest and a failure and things like that. And I do think that we're sort of seeing that here because this is a green candle. So what would have occurred here would be share prices would have broken through 109.70, fallen to lows. Let's get an exact number here. Fallen to lows right around 104.12 would be the price low here, and then retest that area to the top side. And then, we ultimately see this additional failure from that level. So as things currently stand, I would be watching this 109 area with particular importance. I think that you could start to see some pressure taken off of the downside if we were to move back into that area. At that point, it looks like we would still be inside of the exponential moving average cluster. So ultimately, what that would mean is a break above roughly 109.70 would turn the bias then to sideways consolidative. That would be sort of a sideways neutral type of outlook at that point. But currently, we are still focused on the downside, and there's not much support here to be found, near term. Really, all that we're looking at this point would be the 78.6% Fibonacci retracement level of the move from 90.69 to 131.26. So that would essentially be this price movement here. The 78.6% Fib retracement comes in right around 99.30. And then in addition to that, we do have some historical support that was previously seen in this area. And this would have occurred before this ultimate price movement to the top side even occurred. So that does strengthen the validity of this support zone. So we're sort of seeing two different signals here at once, suggesting that 99.30 roughly, this support zone is going to be a little bit lower than that. It's actually around 97.50. So, 99.30 to 97.50 is sort of a support zone that can be seen to the downside. But then if we do break below there really isn't any other support here to catch prices. So, the ultimate price target at that point would then be a retest of 90.69. So that would be a very significant price movement to the downside. We do have some support here, but share prices are going to need to start finding some of that support here relatively soon. As things currently stand on the indicator reading, we can still see some negative indication here on the 4-hour time frame. So overall, the momentum here does remain negative. We haven't seen much positive movement here. But we can say that share prices are now oversold, as we can see in the bottom of this price chart, and we're now starting to roll over out of oversold territory. So there is a suggestion here that we could be reaching a bottom here soon, given the fact that we're oversold, we're rolling over out of oversold territory, and then you do have this roughly 99.30 support zone that's just about $1 away from the current lows. So these are the current price levels that I would be watching. We would really need to see a break back above 109.70 to start to take pressure off of the downside. Here we have the current stock market update for Nvidia Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market, lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.